Hey there, and welcome. So you've heard it a million times, right? A politician gets up, announces some massive, amazing project, and what's the first thing we all think? Yeah, great, but how are we going to pay for it? It just feels like the most obvious, responsible question. But what if I told you it's actually the wrong question? Seriously, let's get into it.
Just picture it for a second. A sleek, high-speed train that could get you from Brisbane down through Sydney and all the way to Melbourne in just a few hours. I mean, it would be a game changer, right? It would connect our biggest cities, create a ton of jobs, and totally transform how we travel. But almost immediately, that little voice in our heads pipes up, how on earth could we afford something that huge? Well, the reason we jumped straight to that question is that we've all been trained to think the government's budget works just like our own budget at home. But this, my friends, is a massive misunderstanding. It's a myth that honestly frames almost every single political conversation we have. For decades, we've been fed this one simple story. The government is like a big household. It has to earn its money through taxes or go out and borrow it before it can spend anything. And look, it makes sense on the surface, doesn't it? It feels so intuitive. We all know we can't just keep spending more than we earn forever. The problem is, that comparison is just completely and utterly misleading. Okay, so this slide, this is where it all clicks. It shows you the huge difference. You, me, a small business, even a whole state like New South Wales, we're all users of the Australian dollar. We've got to earn it or borrow it before we can spend it. Simple. But the Australian federal government, totally different ballgame. They are the issuer of the Australian dollar, the only one. So think about what that means. When the government spends money, say on a Medicare rebate or building a new highway, it's not pulling cash out of a giant government wallet. Nope, it just credits bank accounts. The money is literally typed into existence. It doesn't check its balance first, because it doesn't need to. So, here's the absolute key takeaway. Because it's the issuer of its own currency, the Australian government can never, ever run out of Australian dollars. It literally cannot go bankrupt in its own money. It's like saying a cricket scorer could run out of runs to give to a batter. It just doesn't make sense. The real constraint isn't the money, it's something else entirely. Now, believe it or not, this is not some radical new idea. In fact, there's this fantastic story from way back in 1942 that just nails this concept perfectly. It involves the super famous economist, John Maynard Keynes, and the huge job of rebuilding London after the war. So the story goes, an architect comes to him with all these incredible, ambitious plans to rebuild the city. But he's totally bogged down by that same old question. He apparently shoves the blueprints aside and says to Keynes, this is all well and good, but where is the money going to come from? And Keynes's answer was just perfect. He completely flipped the whole problem on its head. He didn't start talking about taxes or debt. He asked about the real-world stuff you need to build a house. He asked, are we out of bricks? Do we not have enough cement? And of course, the architect had to admit, no, we'd have plenty of materials, and there would be heaps of workers who needed jobs. Keynes's point was so beautifully simple. If you have all the real ingredients, the materials, the skills, the people, then for the government that issues the currency, paying for it is a logistical exercise, not some impossible barrier. And this line just sums it all up. The real wealth of a country, the actual limit on what we can achieve, it's not some number in a government spreadsheet. It's our real physical capacity, what we can actually build and do with our people, our technology, and our resources. So, okay, if how are you going to pay for it is the wrong question to ask a currency-issuing government, what should we be asking? You know, when we hear about these big nation-building ideas like high-speed rail or a new hospital in every town, first things first, we've got to ditch this question. Seriously, it's a trap. It's based on that broken household budget myth. And all it does is shut down good ideas before they even get a chance by making us focus on a financial problem that isn't really the problem we think it is. Instead, here are the right questions. 1, can we physically do this? Do we have the smarts, the technology, the engineering know-how? 2, who's going to build it? Do we have the workers, the project managers, and the right equipment available and ready to go? And 3, and this is the crucial one, do we have the actual stuff, the raw materials, the steel, the concrete, the skilled labor? These are the real limits. Because if we try to build too much too fast without having those resources, we'll just cause shortages and push up prices for everybody. And that's inflation. That's the real monster we need to manage. Thinking this way really changes everything, doesn't it?
It means the goal of government spending isn't just to balance the books as if that's the ultimate prize. No, the real purpose is to organize our country's resources to make all of our lives better, to build the things we need, to deliver better healthcare, and to protect our environment for the future.
So I'll just leave you with this. The next time a politician stands up and promises a fantastic new hospital, or a school, or a national railway, what's your first question going to be? Is it going to be about the money? Or is it going to be about whether we have the builders, the steel, and the national will to make it a reality? Because changing that question, that's the first step to unlocking what our country can truly achieve.